Businesses allocate a significant portion of the revenue to customer service, yet often struggle to deliver a flawless customer experience. This discrepancy stems from a substantial gap between customer expectations and the actual support services provided. As a result, 65% of customers switch companies due to poor experiences. The emergence of AI agents in customer service offers a transformative solution here. These AI powered entities are more than just automated responders, they are sophisticated digital assistants equipped with advanced natural language processing and machine learning capabilities. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Analytics Insight podcast, where we talk about the ever evolving tech space. And I'm your host, Priya Dayalani. Now, in an era of instant gratification, customer service is definitely undergoing a transformative shift. Businesses are taking note of the rising importance of AI agents for customer service, also known as intelligent virtual agents or assistants. And these are software programs that autonomously handle customer inquiries in a human like manner. And according to Gartner, 80% of customer service and support teams will be using generative AI in some form to enhance agent efficiency and the overall customer experience in 2026. Let's welcome Abhinav Arora, MD and CEO of EOSGlobe, to discuss that AI agents aren't replacing humans, they are handling the routine so humans can do what they do best. The trick is knowing what belongs where. Hi Abhinav, how are you doing?
Hello, Priya, and thank you for inviting me to the podcast.
Great, it's a pleasure to have you on our podcast today, Abhinav. And of course, when we talk about the customer experience vertical of any particular business or sector, I think there's a lot going in that space, considering the kind of technological advancements we are witnessing today and how these emerging technologies are helping companies and businesses provide top-notch customer service. But today, of course, we are going to explore the other side of it by understanding how AI agents aren't here just to replace humans, they are here to do more than probably what we can imagine. So, let's start our discussion today by letting our listeners understand more about EOS Globe. So, if you could help us understand about the company, its specialization, it would be great.
Sure. We started as a telemarketing company 20 years back, but we've evolved significantly since then. Today, EOS Globe is a formidable brand in the outsourcing and business process management industry. We specialize in helping businesses improve their customer experience through smarter processes and, more importantly, a very thoughtful use of technology. We work across industries, right from banking and financial services to insurance to healthcare, retail, consumer durables, technology, and across all these industries, we help our clients. In managing their customer service operations, right from voice to back office transaction processing. A common thread is always the same, how the interactions can become smoother while making their work more meaningful, and for the teams who are delivering it actually. What makes us a little different is what you just started this podcast with. We just don't want to implement technology, for the sake of technology because that's the buzzword these days. We focus on understanding how it actually works, where the pain points are, and then probably design solutions that can help them better, whether it is through implementing some AI into it, or maybe process redesigning, or just at times just simplifying what they're already doing actually.
Definitely. Thank you for that overview, Abhinav. And I think by understanding more about the company, it definitely sets the stage for a further conversation. And of course, it's not about building technology for the sake of innovation, but I'm really glad to know how EOS Globe is deeply focused on solving real and on-ground challenges for businesses and how the company has combined domain expertise with cutting edge technology, clearly position itself more than just a service provider, but more like a strategic partner driving measurable impact. Having said that, Abhinav, we would like to know more about you as well. You are a passionate and driven business leader with over 2 decades of experience in the IT industry. And throughout your career, you have been leading and transforming organizations, driving their growth and success. So, can you tell us more about yourself? How has your journey been till date? And what exactly is your role at EOS Globe today?
It's been a wonderful and exciting journey all throughout my career. And, here in EOS Globe, as managing director and CEO, my role is primarily focused on three things. One, setting a strategic direction for the organization. Second, building the right culture. And third, making sure that we stay grounded in what actually helps our clients. On the strategic side, I'm constantly watching where the industry is heading, not from the technology trends only, but in fact, we keep observing how the customers' expectations are changing with times, how the business evolution is happening, within the outsourcing periphery as well. That's where, I've been observing the industry and working around it. Big part of my focus lately has been towards the AI and automation. But again, as I said previously, it's not about just implementing any AI or automation process, but more to understand whether it can actually solve the problem statement. Culturally, I've worked hard to create an environment where the best ideas can come from anywhere. Actually, some of our most significant improvements have come from the team members who are just frontliners, because I am not there. I would never be able to see what's right now actually happening at the front line. But these people who are actually handling the customers are coming up with brilliant ideas and giving us and helping us to create solutions which are far more efficient. I've learned my job isn't to have all the answers, it's to create space for the right answers. And that's what I can say. I've been very fortunate to work with an incredible team. Most of my team members at leadership role are working with us for more than 15 years now. And, it's a give and take. They've taught me as much as I've contributed to them.
Definitely, Abhinav, and I particularly, like how you highlighted that best ideas can come from anywhere, and it's important that you create space for the right answers, and it shows how your work directly influences not just the internal teams, but also how you deliver value to customers and the larger ecosystem. Moving ahead, when we talk about I don't think it's a fact that the world of AI is evolving at breakneck speed, and nowhere is this conspicuous than in the emergence of AI agents. Now, as organizations grapple with separating genuine innovation from the marketing hype, what AI agents really mean for businesses today is a very critical questions that business leaders are facing today. And of course, one of the most persistent challenges in this space is a confusion surrounding terminology. I mean, AI agents in particular have become an overloaded term that mean different things to different people. So, when we talk about AI agents, Abhinav, what do they actually do in plain language? And how should business leaders think about them beyond the hype?
I think in a very simple sentence, I can explain it. AI agents are smart systems that will understand the context of the problem, make decisions, and complete the task. So I'll give you a difference between the conventional bots that we were using till now, or the eyewear systems that we were using till now, and artificial intelligent agent. These, the traditional bots were like an automated phone menu, keyword centric. You mention billing either on your chat or on your IVR or on your, by pressing the number, or even in a voice bot, you mention billing, it will pick up the context of the billing that has been fed into it and start, follow the script and answer it to you, with or without understanding that anything unexpected which is coming in, it will not be able to answer because it's not fed into it. Now, AI agents are fundamentally different. They can understand what you're actually asking. Even if you're phrasing it in a different way, it's okay. They will still understand it. They will actually refer to multiple systems, from where the information has to be fetched. They will create a judgment, and they will complete the end-to-end task. Now, this is completely, an independent work. So you will have to actually think them as your capable colleague than, only a, AI agent or an automated menu, so they can handle a significant level of responsibility. Giving you an example of it, we work with one of the largest GI companies in India. So when we talk about an AI agent, and when we deployed an AI agent there to actually handle a complete complex insurance claim, what would a traditional bot would have done? It would have actually triggered it to one response center, and then given it to an agent. In this case, the AI agent understood the issue, checked eligibility from a different system in a CRM, identified the gap, and suggested an option to the customer. Now, this all of it is happening in one interaction. That is AI agent. You just have to think that, okay, 40 to 50 to 60% of your queries, requests, are now being handled by a sophisticated agent, where a complexity or a nuance is not required, or an emotional quotient is not required. That's what AI agent is all about. What business leaders have to understand is that AI is not a magic, and it's not a one size fits all kind of a concept. They're tools that excel at specific things, handling routine, complex tasks, providing consistent responses, and tirelessly working 24 by 7, because it's a machine. But it still has its limitation. The limitation is that when you need empathy, when you need a nuanced judgment, when there is a complex negotiation, the human is still required. So right now, the leaders doing this right aren't asking how can we replace people with AI. They're asking what are we asking our people to do that AI could handle better, so that our people can focus on work that actually needs human judgment.
Definitely, and I think that was a really helpful way to ground the idea of AI agents in reality. And what I'm taking away is that AI agents aren't some futuristic replacement for people. They are more like extremely capable digital co-workers that can observe, decide, and act within clearly defined boundaries.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And with that, I think, I mean, just like how you explained, and the debate between AI and human touch in customer service isn't a new one. It's been a hot topic for a while now, especially as technology keeps getting better and smarter. Now, on one side, you have AI, which is great at handling things quickly and efficiently. It can answer your questions 24/7, sort out simple queries, and handle multiple customers simultaneously. And this is super helpful for businesses because it saves time and money. And on the other side, there's the human touch. It's all about the personal connection that support professionals can, they can have that relation with the customers, something AI can't really do at the moment. So, in customer interactions today, what type of queries are best handled entirely by AI, and which ones clearly need a human touch? And where do you think we can have a hybrid AI plus human model work best?
So I think the best way to explain it is that AI handles routine complexity and humans handle emotional complexity. That's the easiest way to answer your question. We found a pretty clear pattern through, though I should say upfront, every business is different. So this isn't a rigid formula, it is subject to change, but that's our experience. AI completely excels when it comes to handling routine complexities. Examples are password resets, order status that you check on your e-com sites and quick commerce sites, etc. Basic troubleshooting, checking account updates on your accounts, tasks which have a very clear procedure but might involve multiple steps or system checks, are handled by AI pretty well. These are perfect for AI because they need consistency and accuracy. But there is no element of empathy or creative problem solving or customer negotiation which is required here. So that's where AI excels at, handling routine complexity. When it comes to human, humans are essential for an emotional complexity. Customer is frustrated, he's calling us multiple times, there is a healthcare crisis and a claim is stuck for some reason, there is a financial hardship. Any instance where a trust is broken needs a human empathy. And that's where the ability to go off script, the ability to just have an emotional touch, this is where humans are required. So, it's not always obvious which is which, but we thought technical troubleshooting would be perfect for AI. But, we discovered that, even after troubleshooting, when it was not working, the AI didn't work. Then you required a human because the customer is already frustrated. You asked a very good question. Where can these two marry and work together as a hybrid solution? So, in a situation where a relevant information has to be gathered, multiple systems have to be checked, there is a complete pattern to it, that AI can handle fetching the information and give it to the agent to then communicate it to the customer. In a financial service, AI can analyze a customer's entire transaction history, check anomalies, check fraud patterns, and then human can review it and explain the same to the customer. That's the best hybrid model that comes to my mind when I think of it.
Definitely, and I think that was a really nuanced way to look at it. And I think the big takeaway here is that this isn't a debate about AI versus humans. It's really about AI working in the right moments and humans stepping in where judgment, empathy, and accountability truly matter. And instead of asking how much we can automate, I think the right question is where does automation give more clarity and where does human presence create trust. I think that balance is what ultimately can define customer experiences in the AI era.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And when we're talking about humans and AI, and if you talk about the customer interactions and customer service domain, AI powered phone systems are becoming more common in business operations, but a significant technical challenge undermines their effectiveness. That is the transition from AI to human agents. And seamless handoffs from AI to human agents have is one of the most recognized challenge, and many transitions are still failing to meet those customer expectations because failed handoff protocols can result in customers repeating their information or extended resolution times, and all this frustration can harm the company reputation and can further drive the customers to your competitors. So, how do you think companies can ensure a seamless AI to human transition in real world practice?
I think Priya, you're absolutely right. And this is one of the hardest parts to get right. And honestly, many companies have struggled with it. The worst experience is when a customer explains their entire problem to an AI, gets transferred to a human, and again, that it has to repeat, everything. So that creates a lot of frustration. So a seamless handoff to me, I think, requires three things. One is a complete context transfer. When the customer is over a call or any kind of an interaction, and AI has already handled that part, and when it is going to the human, that human or agent should be able to go through the entire conversation, communication history, and maybe the sentiment analysis can give a frustration level as well to the agent, so that he's in his or her mind very clear that this is the mental state of the customer and that's how this should be handled. Second is a smart timing, and I think that forms the biggest fundamental if a seamless handoff has to happen. AI needs to recognize when it's reached its limit before the customer gets frustrated. We have triggers where the AI has to transfer the call to a human. But then those triggers have to be prepared after very thoughtful understanding. You might want to put in rules that if the AI is asking more than two times or more than three times the same thing from a customer, which means that the customer is gonna feel frustrated, and that sentiment analysis should show that also. And maybe if the query involves specific keywords that require a human to handle, depending on the sensitivity, that's where I think the timing and these triggers will help, and they form a very important part of a complete handoff. Then the third is preparation of the human team. uh, See, I think with AI coming in, the what we're trying to or what people have started thinking is that okay, humans are going to get replaced, and maybe we've stopped for focusing much on the training of the humans. That's the most overlooked part, as per me. That human agent also needs a proper training on how the AI handoff will be received. AI's limitations. What are those limitations? So that they can pick up the conversations very smoothly. So that's where we train our teams to open with something like, I can see what you've been working with our system on this. Let me pick up right where that left off, rather than, hi, how can I help you? That's a very standard, the agent would say, how can I help you? Rather than that, the customer would feel delighted if somebody says that, okay, I've gone through what all has been happening and I can clearly see that. Let me pick it up from there. So that's something which is very important if a smooth handoff has to happen.
I agree with you, Abhinav, and I think the AI to human isn't just about technology. We really need to focus on context and timing as well. And I also think that many organizations treat AI and humans as two separate systems instead of designing them as collaborators. So I think the real maturity comes when AI knows when to step back and humans know when to step in, not just to fix a failure, but to add more empathy and accountability. And I think this shift will define the efficiency, and because speed alone isn't the goal anymore. I think we need more confidence and experience, just as much, if not more.
Correct.
Moving ahead, I think now there are several reasons why customer service sector is increasingly relying on AI agents. We discussed that AI agents can handle many routine inquiries and tasks, and which allows human agents to focus on more complex issues. They can improve the overall efficiency of the customer service team, reduce overall costs, and the list is never ending. But when it comes to measuring success, Abhinav, what are some metrics organizations should focus on beyond just the response times and cost savings?
Actually, this is very crucial because many companies measure the wrong things and think they're succeeding when they're actually making things worse. Response time matters, cost matters, but there's a problem in that. You can have a fast, cheap system that frustrates everyone. We've actually seen so many companies nowadays who are celebrating that HT, average handling time, reduced by 40%, while their customer satisfaction scores are also dropping. So, would you want to actually create an environment where only a focus on cost is happening, or a response is happening? I don't align myself to that, and I wouldn't suggest. The metrics that actually matter is customer effort score. How hard did the customer have to work to get their issue resolved? This is often more predictive of loyalty than satisfaction. If someone has to repeat themselves three times or contact you twice to solve a problem, I think that's a failure for us. Even if it is fast, but that's a failure. In fact, we should focus as much as possible on creating an environment of first call resolution. Even if the AI responded in 30 seconds and it's not been able to give you a first call resolution, doesn't make a difference then. These are the metrics which will help us. Sentiment trends over time. Are the customer getting more frustrated? So we should track this through our conversation analysis. We can respond fast, but it shouldn't be that people should be left unheard just on the focus of creating a faster response mechanism. Fourth is human work quality. Again, as I said previously, is my agent well trained to understand the limitations of AI? How a transition of a call from AI to human has to happen? Second, is my agent trained enough to handle that complexity of a interaction where AI couldn't handle it? So that's where the human work quality and training will form a very key element. And lastly, containment rate with context. What percentage of queries did AI handle completely? But we also need to see, was it supposed to handle this much? Is it a low containment rate or is it a high containment rate? Maybe a client is celebrating 80% of AI containment rate. Sounded great, but when we analyzed it deeper, we found that the AI was containing queries by giving partial answers. So the customer's issue wasn't fully resolved. It's just that customer had given up after some time. Rather, when the AI is readjusted, in fact, we did that with a client. When we readjusted it, the containment rate dropped. However, the first call resolution improved. The actual resolution of the customer improved, which resulted in a better customer satisfaction survey and better NPS. That's what I think are the trends that we should be looking at. Those are the results and key areas that we should be measuring. See, the measuring index should start from the customer's happiness, then move back to the solution matrix.
That's a really important perspective, Abhinav, and I'm glad you brought that out because it reframes how organizations should think about success in a far more meaningful way. And I really liked your point of how the customer effort score should be really measured, because if the customers are working too hard to solve their issue, then I think the efficiency gains alone don't really translate into success. Moving ahead, now despite the transformative potential of generative and agentic AI, many organizations are rushing in unprepared, leading to costly delays or failed pilots and even missed business outcomes. And when planning industry use cases, I think ethical AI has always been an important discussion point with leaders, especially in industries like healthcare and finance. And I think, in my experience, while most leaders acknowledge the importance of ethics in AI solutions, they often lack the governance frameworks and the expertise needed to put those intentions into practice. So bias, fairness, and privacy often gets less attention in AI deployments. Though I think we are, witnessing a subtle shift where a lot of organizations are keeping them as a priority. But what ethical questions should leaders be asking before rolling out AI agents at scale?
I think this is where many companies stumble, actually unintentionally, but yeah, that's where a lot of companies are facing a challenge, because everybody is focusing so much on getting the technology working, that a lot of people are ignoring the fact that these implications will create a problem in future. And what gets damaged actually requires a harder effort after that to rebuild. I think the leaders should ask couple of critical questions when they're designing something on AI. One is on bias, which means that what data are we training this AI on, and whose experiences might be underrepresented. Theoretical, but we've seen AI systems trained on historical data, reflected past biases, where lot of wrong decisions have already been taken, like an approval given on certain types of requests, particularly which were against the process, or there are some demographic approvals. There are certain people who've given more approvals. So before deploying any AI agent, we should do a bias audit also. Does this AI respond differently based on how someone is phrasing a question? Does it handle different types of name, language patterns, or communication styles fairly? These aren't one-time checks. It's a regular process of governance that we should create, towards bias. Second is the transparency. When I say transparency, should customers know that they're interacting with AI? Lot of clients we've seen have been focusing on giving a a transition where The customer shouldn't be knowing that they're talking to a human or a machine. I think I fundamentally disagree with that fact. That transparency, it's a customer's fundamental right to know that he's actually, talking to a machine. Because imagine he's thinking that he's talking to a agent or a human being, and during the course of the conversation he realizes that he's talking to a machine. The trust factor will completely evaporate. And that's where I think we should be very clear in disclosing upfront that you're chatting with an, or you're talking, or you're interacting with an AI assistant, which will help you better. And it's going to take some time, but yeah, the customers will understand, and the world is moving fast towards acceptance of AI as well, and AI agents as well. The third point is privacy. What are we doing with that conversation data? Have we told customers? AI systems learn from interactions, which means that they're collecting and analyzing data. So leaders need to ask, where are we storing this data? Who all have access to it? And how is this data getting treated? That's where this privacy part, and I think it's very very important to have right checker or information compliance team, information security team, to actually check and audit about all these interactions and the storages, etc. Government has been very supportive these days with the new norms that are coming in under DPDP Act, where all this already is getting handled. Because even if people are ignoring it, then by force they're supposed to manage the data very sensitively. Fourth is the human override. Can customers easily get to a human if they want one? Can humans override an AI decision? Little operational but ethical. If you have your AI denying something, or going by the procedure, but when a human feels that okay, there is something which needs a rectification, the human should have that empowerment to override it and give that comfort to the customer. Last is the accountability question. If the AI makes some mistakes or causes harm, who's responsible? Now, this needs to be answered before deployment, not after deployment, or the incident which could have occurred or which has occurred. You can't blame the AI. You'll have to blame the, outcomes. You'll have to blame the leaders actually. The companies getting this right treat this ethical question as a very strategic and imperative checkbox. They involve diverse perspectives in reviewing AI behavior. They establish ethics committee that can include a frontline staff, or not only the leaders. They build mechanisms for continuous oversight. It can in the initial phase slow down deployment by a few days or weeks, but then it builds a lot of trust that compounds over time. That's worth far more than being first to market with a problematic solution. Hope I've been able to answer your question.
Definitely, Abhinav. And I think bias, fairness, and privacy aren't just technical checkboxes, they are deeply human issues. And when leaders deploy AI agents at scale, they are not just rolling out a tool, they are embedding values in their decision making systems that may operate quietly, continuously, and at speed. And in many organizations, I think innovation moves faster than governance. But as AI agents become more autonomous, handling customer interactions or making recommendations, the cost of overlooking these important aspects or these questions becomes much higher. Ethics then stops being a compliance conversation and becomes more like a leadership one. Well, I think the key insight for business leaders is the importance of realistic expectations coupled with strategic preparations. AI agents are not yet ready to replace human workers, but they are already transforming how work gets done. And organizations that focus on practical applications, invest in workforce development, and maintain healthy skepticism about when the promises will be best positioned to benefit from this technological evolution. Thank you so much, Abhinav, for your time and effort to be on a podcast today and helping us understand that AI is increasingly being used in customer service, but human interaction remains very much essential today. And the future of customer service lies in merging AI speed with the depersonalized attention of human agents. And we also need to kind of also take into consideration the ethical side and ensure that the practical applications of AI agents are delivering measurable business value. Thank you so much for your insights, Abhinav. It was lovely chatting with you.
Thank you, Priya.
Thank you so much, Abhinav. So, this is for our listeners. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion around customer service, how AI agents will not replace human workers but work alongside them like collaborators. And we can see more of AI agents and human teams evolving in the near future. Stay tuned for upcoming podcast, and you can view all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.